and welcome back to Tales from the Soundcheck podcast. This one is a real special one for Dan. We were lucky enough to get his entire band, Ark of the Covenant, back together for the first time in many, many years. This conversation was really awesome to listen to and be a part of. I enjoyed it, Dan enjoyed it, and we hope you enjoy it too.
All right, so I've been looking forward to doing this for a while now. I just want to say thank you, every single one of you guys, for coming on. Thankfully, this didn't turn into a technological nightmare, and we're all here.
Yeah,
you jinxed us.
no.
Yeah, a little early to claim that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I guess we'll just start this off. Let's just go around, have like everybody introduce themselves and what you guys did in the band. Obviously, I'm your lovely host, Dan Graves. I played bass in Ark of the Covenant.
And did vocals.
And did some vocals, yeah.
I'm Jacob. I played guitar for a decent chunk of the time in the band.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Brad. I was a guitar player in the beginning and then was the guitar player at the end.
I'm Alex. I was the vocalist. That's all I got.
Michael Hnath, drummer, and everything else.
Yes.
Oh, man. I was going to say, I haven't seen you guys since Meshuggah, and Brad, I haven't seen you probably since my wedding.
Wow.
Oh, I came down to Nashville.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember. That's right. I did see you in Nashville. That was fun.
Yeah, I saw you, Alex, and Tom down there. I was
Yeah,
down for a music thing.
Sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Last time I saw you, was that at my dad's funeral, or was that in Nashville? I forget which one.
No, I was there at the funeral too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man,
I don't remember when the last time I saw Mike was. I must have been still in
God.
Jamaica.
Meshuggah.
I saw most of you guys at Meshuggah. Brad wasn't there though.
Yeah. he
No.
wasn't.
Dave, I haven't seen
Lazy.
in forever.
yeah, that's because Dave's been living out in California.
I know.
Yeah. That's all I can say about that. It was cool. It's kind of not anymore, but it's if you like nice weather, it's cool. But,
Great weather.
I do
mean,
like nice weather.
Yeah,
it's really expensive. It's really expensive, and
No kidding.
That's why I bought a house in Tennessee, because it's cheap as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I was just back. I just drove cross country with my brother, and we were in a ton of states. And I told my brother, I was like, I think we were in Springfield, Missouri, and there was like a bunch of colleges, and it was a decent sized town. We've been there before 10 years ago when we were coming to California, and I was like, we should just stop here, man. Like we saw a 2-bedroom apartment just for fun, and we looked on we typed in the address and looked online, and it was like $650 for a 2-bedroom, and I was like, damn, dude.
Those exist?
Yeah, in the middle of Missouri.
sounds about right.
Yep.
That's insane. I don't even think you can find a room in Connecticut for $650.
Probably not.
No, you can't. I looked.
I've looked. Yeah.
Dude, Dave, you got a shotgun question for us?
This is a really difficult one because I have could have many different answers on it. Okay, So, what's something that's happened while you guys have played live where a few people have noticed on stage, but not everybody did, and you may or may not have talked about it after the performance?
I don't know about on stage, but I remember the Halloween show in Nashville.
Oh, a different Halloween show. I was thinking Gwen Stacy.
Which Halloween show?
Oh, okay. Both of these are good though. But yeah, the Gwen Stacy show. Oh my gosh, I never wanted to play in a costume ever again.
Yeah.
I threw away my beard so fast.
I was dressed as a cow, Dave.
Yeah, I was the farmer. He was the cow. I forget what everyone else was.
I was a chicken, and I threw
Yeah.
the costume in the back of my truck, and it sat there for like 2 years.
That's
It was
crazy.
so gross.
Oh, it's like a hockey bag, dude. It's
I took
nice.
the lazy way out. I was a pig and I just wore a nose.
In aviators.
In fairness, I
I
just
didn't
wore
worry.
a flannel and I had a hat and a beard on, but the beard like kept slipping while I was trying to sing, and I was like, "Nope, this isn't working."
Yeah.
No, but the one in Nashville, oh my gosh. There was this weird band that was playing. This was the same night where we had to go, or remember we stayed at Collins, and then the next day we went to the promoter's house.
Was that the one where we snuck in
The gate?
like behind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this.
I love
Oh,
telling
I
this
remember
story.
that. Okay, yeah.
Dude, that
I
was the
forgot
same
about
night.
that.
That was like 2-3 a.m. We rolled up there before, like
we
even
stayed
before
at,
we got
well,
to
the
Collins.
thing was, we let it breathe for a night because after we found out that dude dipped.
Mhm.
We stayed with our my buddy Colin. We the same dude we had on Dave. And
He's a
yeah,
cool dude.
when we were getting ready to go back to Connecticut, we just like stopped over. This dude was in a gated community, and there happened to be a truck pulling in, and we just pulled in right behind him. The other dude that was running the show gave us his address, so we were just like, boop.
I was gonna say, let's give it some context. We were doing the entire show, and then a few hours in, I think we were going on next. One of the co-promoters came up to me and explained the situation that the guy who booked it that I worked with dipped, and all they had was wow, whatever money they had from the door after they paid the venue and everything, which was not at all what he agreed to pay us. So I don't know. We were kind of stuck in a rut, didn't know entirely what to do. And then Dan's friend Colin allowed us to stay with him, and then just kind of figured it out and decided, like Dan said, to give it some breathing time, take him by surprise. And we ended up getting all his information from the other promoters. So he ended up getting blacklisted too after all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would hope
just-
so.
I just remember Troy and I sitting in the van, just discussing like what is possibly happening in there because we were the only two that didn't go in.
Didn't we have you guys go around back
I
in
thought
case
we
they
had you
tried
guys
to?
go
Yeah,
around.
we did go around back, but we never actually stepped inside. Yeah, because you were like, just in case they try and run, or he tries to run.
Get
But
'em.
like nothing happened, and
No.
the entire time we were like making up stories about like how there's a gunfight in there and shit.
Felt like it sometimes.
Yeah, Troy was a lot of fun.
We got our money.
By the way,
on-
Troy was our touring guitarist for 2 tours, I think it was.
Yeah.
We've had a few times where promoters. It was something that came up on an interview we had with See You Next Tuesday.
Mhm.
But promoters sometimes they just don't deliver. Like Dan, you said the other night, like there's the door cover, and then it's split, between all the bands, and then all of a sudden the promoters just nowhere to be found. And that happened to us in Forsaken the Sky before we changed the name and had vocal changes. And I remember a time where we were in Long Island and we were at some pool hall and there was a band that played before us, and I have no recollection of what band it was. They were like some they were in their 40s. We were like fucking. I was like 22. Like it was a whole different time. These guys are probably like in their 70s now, and and we waited for them to change over for 46 minutes, and we were like, all right.
Wow.
Like we're headlining this show. Our merch table's right at the door. We got drink tickets. This whole thing, and we just waited and waited and waited. And then 12:30 at night, we ended up getting on stage like in the morning, and there was like 100 less people
Mm-hmm.
at the end of that. And then all of a sudden, we found out that the promoter went home. And we were like, oh, well, we were guaranteed. I don't know the amount of money, but I think it was like $180 or something like that. Because we were on the beginning of we were going into New York City and then to Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm.
and then back to Connecticut for like a couple dates and stay at home for a couple nights. And we were like, wait, where's the guy? And this is when Nate was still in Forsaken the Sky. So we had
jeez.
yeah. And John and Cameron were a force to be reckoned with when you were dealing with that.
Mhm.
And turns out the dude never left. He just hid like in a car, and it just turned into a whole thing. And there was physicality involved. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But this happened 3 times when I was in that
Jeez.
band, and then once in when I was in a band called When All Is Lost. We had our like trigger system stolen
Mhm.
outside of the Webster Theater or something like that. And it was somebody within the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mike, where'd you have your
People
cymbals
suck.
stolen? What venue?
Tuxedo
Oh.
Junction.
That was
Yeah.
it.
That was
Oh,
bad.
dude, that place is crazy.
Oh, if we want to
dude.
talk about stolen stuff.
Oh, there's
all of his cymbals were stolen.
At Tuxedo's.
The
Was
whole
it in the
bag?
parking lot?
My
or was
No,
It
my
was in
it was
the
overdrive pedal.
alleyway, dude. Like
no,
right
not
when you're
even.
leaving.
It was they were on the stage as we were putting everything away, and I'm pretty sure it was some staff of the show that took it.
Oh,
Because
so you just didn't realize until we got outside?
when we were packing the whatever we brought up, truck or
Van
something,
or whatever we had, yeah.
yeah, they just weren't there, and I was like, "What the hell?"
what year was
So,
that? Were we
Same with my
playing?
2000
This
with my
was
overdrive pedal.
I don't know.
Oh, way later.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
this was like Weekend Warrior days, so I don't know, 2009, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, somewhere around
So it was when I was still in Forsaken.
Yeah,
We probably played that show with you at Tuxedo Junction. Honestly, we played a bunch of
Possibly.
shows.
yeah.
I mean, we
Tuxedo's
talked about how
was-
we used to like how Cameron used to put like drumsticks in Jeff Brown's like butt crack while he was playing. And
Yeah,
see-
we probably
see-
liked it. So
Is Jeff Brown still in
Right.
Currents?
oh
No,
god,
no.
He hasn't,
Okay,
he
yeah.
hasn't been in
so,
that
so
band.
they don't have a single original member left.
No.
No,
I didn't
no,
think
they
so.
don't.
Okay,
I
because I
did.
knew Jeff was the longest there.
yeah, Jeff's it's his baby.
I did a tour with them. God, what was that? 2016 for a week. And I mean, all people we know, but nobody was an original to Currents.
No, not the current the current lineup.
Yeah, now that I listen to Currents, I'm like, this is not the same band.
Not at all.
but
No.
it's all we all have like this weird Dan, I guess the really only way to say it is like band whore aspect of it, because like Ryan was in Forsaken after
Yeah.
a year and a half like after I left.
Everybody was in everybody's band.
Yeah.
Ryan-
Except for us, none of us joined anything else.
Yeah, right.
You guys are the pariah of that.
Hey, I was in Currents before it was Currents.
Oh yeah, that's true. You were in
That's
End of the
true.
Line.
No, End of the
band.
Line was Paz's band.
Yeah.
What was it called before?
We came with
I
Plague.
don't even. Yeah,
No.
we came with Plague.
No, it was
Or was it
something
Dead
else.
Waters Rise?
Dead Waters
it's-
Rise. Okay.
Oh wow, there was another one before it. Holy crap.
I remember
bad.
every time I tell people about Currents, I'm like, they were something else.
They were absolutely
Before we
something
came to
else.
Plague. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, we were real bad, and then I left and they got good.
Go
I think
figure.
it's more like they tried or got people that really wanted to,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I
be
didn't
in
want to
that
say
band.
anything, but when he left us, we got good too.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Fuck.
Did you guys play that that Acacia Strain show?
No, we
Tuxedo
never
Junction?
played with
No,
Casey Strain.
that was the one with the talent show, right?
We played with the Black Dahlia Murder, but not the Casey Strain.
We played a show with the Acacia Strain. I think Dr. Acula was on it too. It was at
No, we
Tuxedos.
played with them.
No, that was at I thought that was at
It was at Tuxedos.
Heirloom Arts Theater. Was it Tuxedo?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was. I think it was Heirloom because there was the Acacia Strain show at Tuxedos. That was it. Detroit, what?
Yeah,
They like
Oh,
won
that's
the
right.
opportunity to play,
And they covered the
and-
Acacia Strain during
and they
their set.
covered Car Bomb or something
Yeah.
before the Acacia Strain went on. It was awkward.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the show where both stages were operating. It was a really cool. I think it had continent artwork on the ticket, and we had played that show, and we were going to sleep in the van outside Tuxedos, like right outside in that parking lot where it fit like 3 cars, and
Brave.
we slept there for as long as we could, and then all of a sudden we heard like knocking on the window, and I remember somebody, it might have been John, being like, just shut the fuck up and just stay still, be dead. As soon as they left, we fucking turned that engine on and backed that shit the fuck out of that parking lot and got out of there.
That place was sketchy as all get out.
We definitely played shows with you guys. Yeah. It was a lot at Tuxedos.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I remember first show we played with you guys that I remember was at Club Swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wrench in the
Milford.
Works.
Was it Wrench in the Works?
This was before Dave.
I was gonna say, wasn't this
This was
Death is Defeated? Because I never played Club Swords.
yeah.
Oh, that might have been. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that was Death is
pre-Arc.
Defeated. That
Yeah.
wasn't Arc. Yeah. Never mind.
But that was
But it was half of us.
Jake and I were in whatever band became Arc.
Was
For
Brad? Were you in
everybody
it at that
we got.
time?
No.
Yeah, I started
were?
on bass and then switched over to guitar.
Yeah, when we went
for,
to
like-
Arc, you switched
and
to
then-
guitar.
And then yeah, we switched to Arc, and I was on guitar for I think like 6 months at most, and then ended up leaving. But yeah, I was in Death is Defeated on bass for like
Hot minute.
about a year.
Did you do that show? I think so.
I have no memory of.
Well,
of-
if I didn't do Club
most-
Swords, neither did Brad.
Yeah,
I guess that's true.
who was
yeah.
on the
'Cause
bill?
I joined first for Death is Defeated.
Right.
I don't remember anyone else
think-
from the show.
you know
I
what's
just remember
funny?
Forsaking the Sky.
You know what's funny? I think my old band,
You threw blind eyes.
Youth
Yeah.
of Blind Eyes, played that same show. So
You
weird.
did.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember this.
So most of this podcast was on that show,
Yeah, pretty much.
or half of us.
Minus Brad and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was in Forsaken the Sky we were still Forsaken the Sky.
Yeah.
I think Heaven, Earth, Hell had just come out,
Yeah.
and so I was in there. It was like 2.5 solid, maybe almost 3 years. It was like 2008 to 2000.
11.
Yeah, just about 2011. I left right after we played a show at the Hippodrome
Mhm.
with Shadows Fall. It was Kaboom Fest.
Mm.
And yeah, it was some bands on that one. And but we were going through some gnarly fucking vocal changes, man. Like,
Oh,
we
I
had, like,
know.
3 vocalists in like 4 months or something like that. And we had played some weird shows. We had Lou on recently. We played some weird shows with Lou. We played that Tuxedo Junction show with Lou.
Lou was good. He was from
he's
another band, right?
He was from Conducting from the Grave.
That's what it was.
On Paths of Torment was the Connecticut band that he out of Torrington that he had started in, and then he did a stint with Through the Eyes of the Dead. He's a cool guy. He's in a band Altars of Arwan now out of Vegas.
Huh.
Yeah, and he's yoked, dude. He's he's like the most jacked dude ever. He was cool to talk to. But yeah, no, we had so many changes. I mean, when I was in the band, we had Nate. Mike T had just left the band, and we
Okay.
went from dual vocals to single vocals, and
I
the
forgot you had two.
yeah, Jesus Fest, like all that shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Mike T, I wasn't even in that band. I was in Perfect Honesty at the time,
Uh-huh.
and we had those changes, and then I was the bass player change, and then all of a sudden we did some recordings with Nate, which we are going to have on the show, which I'm so stoked for. Yeah, where it just didn't work. Like he had some, he hurt his voice pretty bad.
I remember he was bleeding one show.
Yeah, like out of his mouth. Yeah, it was terrible. But he still did the work, and then we got Lou, which was an interesting opportunity, and then after that,
Jason.
Oh no, there was a couple changes before that. We had we had Alex Ulmer for a couple shows. He was on the Kaboom Fest show with us. He played maybe 2 or 3 shows with us. And then after Alex, I left the band, and then Louis Roman was the vocalist.
Oh right,
briefly.
I remember Louis.
And then Jason came aboard.
Yeah.
And Jason was like 17.
He was a monster, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, his voice was huge.
Yeah. But I feel like that band was so
we
how
tried.
do I put it? It was like they've already gone through it so many times. By the time Jason actually hit them, it was just they were done.
Yeah, and we just talked to a band from California called Reminiscence, and like they're so much like we were. We told them. I mean, Cameron and I still talk.
I haven't heard from him in ages.
He's in LA. Every time we talk a little bit about stuff, and it's kind of like a giggly thing because there's so much dumb shit that him and I have seen with each other. Because that band was everything. But that's the last time I saw you. I really don't.
Where in California are you now?
I'm in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go out to a show when I was Within the Ruins or no?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
Got it.
Did not. The last band I saw that was local, with everything that we were associated with, was Years Since the Storm.
I see.
Out here.
Huh. What a band. Eric Snapper.
Very much so. All right, so I'm just kind of curious, man. Just to transition a little bit, how do you guys feel that it's like 10 years ago we put out our only full length, but like how do you have you guys listened to it recently? Like it's really wild to listen to if you haven't.
I mean,
I listened to it not super recently. I did, however, get sent what was the thing from the EP? What was the song that you wrote by stealing the riff from one of Brad's songs?
Oh my gosh.
What's the name of it? All the Inhabitants of the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom actually sent me the other day. He was like, dude, I just listened to All the Inhabitants of the Earth and it's dope. And I listened to it again because I couldn't remember what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Wait, what riff was it?
It was from Stop Looking at Me, Schwan, I think.
Oh God, I forgot about the names.
I like the original stuff.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
That's back when I wanted to be like ABR.
Dream Theater.
Yeah, like Dream Theater-ish.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Yeah. Dan literally stole that and then wrote a song around it. And I was like,
perfect.
you know,
I heard
he
it.
Stole it from like a member of our own band. So
I heard it. I was like, nah, that's a good riff. We got to bring that back.
Right.
So I was actually telling Alex.
I forgot that Mike, you wrote that 2-step part at the end of it, and I was like, oh, okay, now we're going back to hardcore. Okay, cool.
I was telling Alex the other day because we met up, and that's one of the few riffs I could actually play that Brad wrote. So I think that was part of the reason Dan picked it.
So. Wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe subconsciously, but I was just like, no, this works.
Yeah.
I
just
actually
changed it up a little bit.
Yeah. A buddy of mine sends me Abandoned like once a year because it's
Really?
his favorite
It's
song
a
on the
good ass
record.
song.
It's a solid song, dude.
He loves the intro. Like I forget y'all probably don't remember him, but he came to a couple of our shows.
Yeah.
And
What was his name again? The blonde guy?
John. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
I remember
Dude's
that.
super
dude.
cool.
Yeah.
Solid
Oh yeah.
dude.
But he loves the intro. He was like, dude, how the fuck did you guys do that? And I was like, I don't know, Greg did it all.
Greg wrote it.
Shout
Yeah,
out
we
to
kinda
Greg.
cheated.
Greg.
Like I asked Greg when we were in the studio, I was like, oh, how'd you do that? He was like, oh, I just, like bit crushed and edited. And I was
Chopped
like,
it
that
up.
doesn't help me at all.
I know what that means in
the
context
thing.
now. He just put it through a bit crusher
Yeah.
and chopped it up. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg just has a mind for this stuff. It's so I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
He's busy being cool on tour with End, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just did a wedding with him a couple months ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
You guys got married?
No, he
So cute.
DJs. I do sound. It
Yeah.
works out really well. We've done a bunch together.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, it was nice to catch up. Kind of gave me that itch again. I was like, I want to be back out there. But
Dude, your sound system was sick though.
I still have the same thing.
Yeah, Dave. This
Hmm.
dude has like such a pro setup. We used to do he used to set up shows at this church in Bridgeport, and
Boy.
I think I had
yeah.
Forsaken there.
probably
Oh yeah,
I just said, like,
have a vivid
don't-
memory of Nate just like leaning back
what was it? Pilgrim
unhumanly
Hall.
far and just letting it rip.
Oh shit, that's before me, man.
Oh wow,
Was it?
Yeah.
I guess so.
possibly. But yeah, that place was cool. He used to set up his system in there, and it sounded sick. Oh man, we played with so many cool bands at that venue. We played with Texas in July, Haste the Day.
Yeah.
Man,
No, I definitely had Forsaken at a show there. And I thought it was 09, 10, somewhere in there.
It might, and you know what? It might have been. We
It
played
was
a
this
lot
big
of shows.
church in Bridgeport.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was
That's
Arc,
fine.
not Death is
It
Defeated.
was Arc. Yeah, no. So, but it's fine.
Do you guys played a show with us? It was in Watertown. It was a festival that was poorly run.
They always are.
Yeah, and it was like a VFW across the street from like a Chinese restaurant in a giant parking lot, and it was an absolute clusterfuck. But I know you guys played. There was like 18 bands on it, and it started at like 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I know you remember that because I remember you.
Wait, the
being
one in
there.
New London?
No, it was in like.
are you talking about? Wasn't that South Street 2?
No, it was a Watertown, Waterbury line show.
Huh.
And I forget who did it. I remember vividly the whole experience because I remember us breaking down on 84 going from fucking Newington to Waterbury and like we were pissing on the radiator and shit like that and like running down into like the we were like running down to a stream and like getting water and like throwing it on the engine because the whole fucking thing was overheating. And I remember going to that Chinese restaurant across the street too because like this thing was so poorly run. I mean, I'm not going to name names who put it on because
It was
Yeah.
you.
I definitely know them. I remember it was us and Beneath the Gallows had like an argument on slot times. And it was just like the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah. Man, those were the days.
They were.
I do not miss that at all.
I don't miss the wait, like
Mm-hmm.
like just sitting there and not doing shit. Like, oh, your load-in's at 11 or even 1 in the afternoon. Like, and especially like the Webster was notorious for that, especially when it was pay to play. I don't know if it's still the same operating thing.
They actually have new owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different now.
That's good.
The drummer from The Air I Breathe. I don't know if y'all remember that band.
Yeah,
I do. We played with them once, didn't we?
did. A
Yeah.
couple times, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he ended up going and playing for some. Oh shoot! Do
Wasn't
any
he
of you know?
like Moss of Flame?
Yeah, he was in like Moss of Flames and stuff.
Greg, right?
Yeah. So funny enough, he's doing like promoting and business ownership stuff down in New Jersey still, but he's with a group, this like hip hop group that ended up just buying out the Webster.
Oh wow.
But they can't book the metal shows on their own. They have to use mass concerts as a promoter. So it's just this weird. I just went up and did sound for a show
Oh, fair.
last month.
Oh, cool.
I just want to point out that I love that you said Jersey as if you're from there. Everything else was like all normal northeastern New Englander, and then you're like, and Jersey.
Jersey, yeah.
Enjoy.
Well,
Hey,
I'm
New
tri-state,
Jersey.
okay? I'm Fairfield County. That's tri-state. Like,
Close
it's
enough, I
different.
guess.
He's not
You're
wrong.
Clinton. You're like,
Dude, you know how weird
Thibodeaux.
Connecticut is? Depending on what corner you're at, you have a weird
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
yeah, it's funny living in Tennessee. Like people are just like, "Oh, I love your accent." And I'm like, "I have one of those."
You're like, what?
The
you
lack
don't have a
thereof.
local accent. But
No,
you've always had a southern twang.
I have.
Yeah.
No, I just have a
subtly.
lisp.
No, you always had a little bit of a southern whatever.
I don't know about that.
Oh man. So I just want to go through each one of you guys. Basically, it's the same question. What was one of your favorite moments on tour? We'll start with Brad.
Show wise or just in general?
Just in general, it could be a show, it could be like some weird moment, a memory. It doesn't matter.
All right, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna start this off wrong and give you two.
Okay, cool.
Number one,
Great.
I think it was Bakersfield, California. We were supposed to do a northwest run. Our van died, and we just picked up this random show. I think it was Bakersfield, California. We get there, it's like 120 fucking degrees in the venue, and we sweat through our gig, and then this small band comes on, blows the fucking roof off. It was Silent Planet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm chatting with the front man. I don't even remember what his name is.
Garrett.
I think Garrett. Yeah, I think you were there too, Dan. And I remember telling him like, "Don't stop. You guys are gonna be huge. Don't stop." And he was like, "Oh, thanks, man. Like we're really trying." I was like, "No, seriously, don't stop. This is something unique and special." And so that was, I mean, like that was a fantastic moment. And then number two, we were out in the Southwest with Letter to the Exiles, and it was either on an off day or after a gig or something, and we were all just hanging out under the stars with an acoustic guitar, just like passing it around. So those two moments are some of my, like, I'm not built for tour. But if I could do those two moments for the rest of my life, I think I'd be okay.
That's really awesome.
That was great.
That's awesome, dude. How about you, Mike?
Oh man. Tour? I have to cheat because I did
No, that's fine.
after
I
the
know.
band. I went in. Newsflash: I was the TM front of house for Within the Ruins for a couple years, so I just had a ton of experiences, and I can't really sum it up to a specific moment, but I did get to go to Japan with them, and
Hell yeah.
I guess one moment that was like, this is insane, is we were between shows in Tokyo and Osaka, driving down, and got off. There was a rest stop, and just, it was a total Asian marketplace. It was crazy. Like, that's the only way I could describe it for you guys to kind of understand. And then there was a Starbucks. It was really weird. There was a whole Asian marketplace and then a standalone Starbucks. So of course the band goes to the Starbucks. We get some coffee and we're just chilling outside at a table. And it's just like this open front row view to Mount Fuji in the background with like a cloud of mist around it and everything. It's like,
man.
damn, I'm in Japan on tour. And it was a great little run. It was my last run too, like the start of it, because I did 4 months with them, 3 or 4 months to finish it off. But yeah, I had already decided to go back to college and do that whole thing. So it was definitely like, I at least got this in, bucket list, check off, winning. And then I mean, our first Face Down Fest, that was cool.
Yeah,
That was really special because it was,
that was really cool.
That was actually probably one of my favorite things we ever did was that first one.
Yeah, I mean, we worked so hard for years and years and built up, and we were already signed to Face Down. We did that new single that was getting a lot of success, and then you
Yeah,
know,
meeting like going there, actually talking face to face with Jason and um Virginia, was that his wife's name?
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, talking to the two of them was really cool.
hmm
The vibes there was good. It was cool just
yeah,
to be sitting at the table, like along with doing merch for our own band. Sitting at the table and just like having people come up to me and been like, "What do you do in the band?" I'm like, "I'm the vocalist," and nobody believed me.
oh god, yeah,
I guess I
that's
don't
funny,
really give that. Also, like, h- how do you know what somebody that does gutturals looks like? So
right? But it was just such a being on stage. It was probably one of the definitely probably one of the biggest shows we did out of state at that point, and really just felt the energy and kind of fueled that drive to keep doing it and growing, and because of that show and because we did well enough, and that's when we actually signed to Face Down, and had a lot of wonderful people help us at that point. But my favorite moment, it was less of a tour. We did a one-off to Pennsylvania for Creation Fest,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was just the biggest show I've ever been a part of on stage. There was
Yeah.
wasn't that
thousands
when
of
we were
people.
in between vehicles and I had to drive my truck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
so
kind of like
yep.
a weird part of the band's life, but
Yeah.
we had a great opportunity that came out of nowhere and was kind of a mistake on the festival's hand, but we took advantage of it. We got placed into a spot that a band had dropped right before Impending Doom, kind of like their heavy night. Gideon opened for us. It was really backwards, and we had that twilight time of the day. So by the time our set's actually hitting in, it was already dark, which for an outdoor festival is huge. The lights are crazy, the stage was crazy, the sound was crazy, and it was just like a sea of people that you'd look out at. So that was my okay, if I never do this again, I had that moment where I played what I always envisioned playing on stage for a band would be like.
Big production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
It's kind of
it
like,
was like feeling success. Like
yeah,
the act of having the success, not just working for it.
it's kind of like with Kaboom Fest with Forsaken. Like the band that played before us was Stray from the Path, and we were fucking
Wow.
confused by
That's
that.
so funny.
Yeah, like we
Wow.
were so confused by that,
Yeah.
and there wasn't many people at that show, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
great venue.
Well, I did in some investigating, and I found out that My Children, My Bride had the slot. And then when Face Down came to us asking if we were available and wanted to do it, instead of shifting and, readjusting the schedule, they just plucked us and popped us right in their slot. So Silent Planet played before us. I believe they were the opener.
No, so it was
Who was
Wolves
it?
of the Gate opened,
Wolves at the Gate open, right,
which
right,
is
right.
weird enough. Then Gideon played after. I think Dan McCartney was getting married, so they were only a 4-piece that night.
Mhm.
And then us and Sleeping
Sleeping
Giant.
Giant.
No, it was Impending Doom, I thought. It
It
was
was Sleeping
Impending Doom.
Giant.
Sleeping Giant was the headliner.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't think we ever played with Impending Doom.
We hung out with Impending Doom out in California.
Mm.
Yeah, with the drummer.
With B-Town, we were hanging out at Mark's place out in the desert.
Yeah, what's the name of the? It was
Alex.
at the huh?
Alex, the drummer, was there.
Oh,
Yeah. I thought his name was Brandon. Alex is the drummer for War of Ages.
yes. Alex is the drummer of War of Ages because he hates me taking showers.
Is it Brandon? Man.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Okay.
Lost with time.
Yeah.
So Alex, same question for you. What is like one of your favorite moments on tour?
Can I pick 10?
Yes.
Thanks, Brad.
You have 6 hours. Go for it.
Well, I mean, what was our thing, Mike? Because it was you and me throughout the entire thing. Thick and thin.
Through thick and thin.
Through thick and thin, and we would just pound, but we'd pound like really weird and confuse people. It
Yeah.
was great. Anyways, Now I forget where I was going with that.
It's all right.
Well, one thing that's not show related that I loved, and I still remember this and like crack up every time I think about it, was we were all chilling on the beach, and this is when we had Troy touring with us, and just out of the blue, for no reason, we just start doing Kamehamehas. And we were so in sync that like if you just like if cameras were better back then, which is weird to say and weird to think about, like
Yeah.
you could have put a beam like evenly in between, like we were actually part of Dragon Ball Z. It was weird, but fun. Show wise, kind of same things as Mike. Really liked Creation Fest. Really loved Face Down both times. Honestly, definitely liked the first time better. I think because Brad wasn't there. But I love you,
Yeah.
Brad.
No, I get it.
and Jake was there. I missed you dearly. But you know what? And this is kind of messed up, but one of my favorite things was our fight in I think Long Island.
Oh,
Oh
God,
no,
yeah.
no, I despise that.
Yes, I understand.
I almost
hate
from
that
my-
whole
actually fought
situation.
somebody.
I feel like
I
from
almost
my
actually-
perspective, from my perspective, because I was behind the merch table, and people were just like throwing things like into the table, and like I couldn't really get out, so I couldn't really help you guys at all. And by the time I was able to get out, it was all resolved, and Dan just had his foot on somebody's throat, being like, "Stay the fuck down."
Yeah,
And
I put my foot on
that-
somebody's chest to keep him down. Yes,
And that's a memory that I'll cherish forever.
Yeah,
in the most messed up way.
Mike got punched. I tackled some guy, got kicked in the face, and then everything's over, and it's just Dan standing.
And poor guy filling in for bass for letters.
yeah.
He was at the hospital,
Davey,
right?
or
Dave,
Yep.
yeah,
Dave,
he
yeah.
got his
DJ or
face
something.
fractured.
nicest guy in the world. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the 2 times I almost actually threw hands, like legitimately, but I couldn't.
Letter to the Exiles went to go grab baseball bats.
I grabbed my crowbar
They
as soon as I got
did
to the
grab
band.
baseball bats, and then it was done. So
Yep.
Good God.
That would have been something. Oof.
yeah, it's
I heated. I'm like,
like I said, in the weirdest way, that's like not a good memory, but something that I will forever remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, we did tour with Aegean and
Aegean was cool. Yeah, in Canada.
Who's the band that opened for us with Bryce and all of them?
Seeker.
Yeah. So that little Canadian stretch, that was fun. I remember I had not ever smoked weed at. I don't know if this is appropriate, but
yeah, that's fine.
I never smoked weed in my entire life.
You and me both, honestly.
And it was like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't like insanely opposed to it, but it was illegal. Obviously, this is like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. So
it was legal in Canada, but not in the States.
It was legal in Canada.
Colorado.
And like, of course, the other bands were like all day, every day, whatever. But so we were at a Walmart parking lot, and I decided to join in the group because I'm in Canada and it's legal. And I had never ever slept better in my entire life.
I bet.
After that,
I bet
it was literally one hit, one and done, and it just knocked me out.
So
it's amazing.
So when we were traveling in Canada, Mike and I smoked the same night, and I wasn't feeling it too heavy. But you guys, of course, you remember Tom. So when Tom was with us, I would just walk around him, and every time I'd walk by, I would say, "Everybody knows."
Everybody knows.
And he started freaking the hell out. There's been like, "What does everybody know?" And so when he eventually became my roommate, I tried doing it. He's like, "No, I've learned."
I wasn't even super high that night. Just I slept so good.
Yeah, that's usually a positive side effect of good weed.
Funny story too. I have a cannabis chocolate company that's one of my clients. So
sick.
4 years. If you ever need samples.
Yeah, got it.
Yes. Best dark chocolate.
Can you mail them to Tennessee?
Probably not.
No, I can't mail them. You got to.
Of course you can't.
Certainly
This
not
is-
This is
Tennessee.
the
I
Bible
mean-
Belt, my friend.
I mean, I could mail it. It's not like it would
It's-
get trapped in the mail, but
Just not necessarily legal. You should
Yeah.
do it. You should just.
All right. We'll keep this going, Jake. One of your favorites memories from tours or just the road in general?
So I'm gonna triple cheat, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna be super quick. So I'd say one of the best experiences I've had on tour was we had an off day on the way to the first Face Down Fest, and we stopped at the Grand Canyon, Hoover
Mhm.
Dam, and hit up Las Vegas, and it was amazing. That was a really fun day.
That was a fun day.
That
That
was
was
great.
fun as hell. I forgot about that.
I remember Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah. Alex got the milkshake there, and they just whole stick of butter. Yeah, it
Holy
was
shit,
fucking
yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good milkshake, but I had to do it.
Oh my gosh. Or
Typical
bet-
Alex.
Oh man. Or better yet, especially in Vegas, I remember one of the guys from Nothing Till Blood. The
Mhm.
line was too long, and he just took the tall boy out of the fridge and walked.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, he was like, "I'm not waiting." Nobody
It's
stopped
Sin
him.
City.
Whatever.
The last time I was in Vegas, though, wasn't a horrible experience. It
That
was
was
just
when we were young, right?
when we were young festival. Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Fortunately, wasn't a part of the group that got canceled.
Either
I had
way.
friends go. They had a blast. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a great time. Yeah, no objections from the bands that I got to see that I've never gotten to see. Like I've never been able to see AFI, and I got to see AFI, and that was
there you
sick.
go.
Jake, what were your other two?
Yeah, so I'd say as far as shows, like most memorable shows for me, on the way back from Face Down Fest, if I'm remembering correctly, our whole tour schedule, well, we didn't have one, but we thought we would have one on the way back. And so we hitched a ride with, I think it was Messengers, Redeemed, and
Redeemer.
was Iron Will or Redeemer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron
And-
Will, yep.
And we played at some reservation
Mhm.
in New Mexico, I think. And
Four
these
Corners.
dudes
Best.
just
Those
went
kids were so nice.
absolute ape shit and bought like $200. Like they were all bringing, like $500 just to like buy merch from people.
Mhm.
And it was great because we weren't getting paid. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
They're
were
like-
playing for merch money.
It was in the middle of nowhere, and I think
It
they
was-
just wanted shows to keep going there, so they wanted to support anybody that came
Wasn't
through,
it
which
an
is awesome.
auto shop or something?
It was
It
a
was in
glass
a-
workshop.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Was it? I thought
I
it was
remember-
a trailer park.
That was
Like-
No,
another
it was
time.
like a glass workshop. It may have been like an auto glass workshop, but I just remember it being glass something.
Yeah.
But it was at the Four Corners.
It was
Colorado,
somewhere
New
up there.
Mexico, blah blah blah.
I don't remember exactly where it was.
Yeah,
but
I
It
can't
was in the middle of
remember either.
nowhere.
It was.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was in the middle of nowhere. Regardless.
There's a lot of the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, so
Oh yeah.
Oh, that whole stretch from like mid Texas all the way out to California. Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing.
Brad, remember driving through that sandstorm, I think in California?
Oh,
my god.
man.
Yeah,
Oh,
That
that
was
was
insane. I don't
so
know how we
wireless.
survived.
sandstorms.
Yeah.
I've been in a few of them. Yeah, being out
yeah,
here.
it's something I've never seen before.
Something you never want to do again.
Yeah.
And we saw
Hell
it a few times.
when it's raining and there's lightning at the same time too on top of the sand. It's an absolute
It's
cluster.
just-
We didn't have that. We just had the sand, but it was blind.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
was
you-
coming through the vents. It was awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I remember you pulling off, and like the entire time I was like, please tell me he's not going to miss this exit.
Just pop the hazards and pull
like,
over.
like
and
not
wait.
even like you were going to drive by it, just like you weren't going to be able
Drive-
to even see it.
Just drive off the road. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
drive off the road, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I was sleeping.
Probably.
You were. It was I was passenger, Brad was driving.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was
I think
fun.
everybody else was sleeping in the back.
last one, we were playing a show down in Florida, and we were sleeping, as we always did, in a Walmart parking lot. And it was so hot that night. So we decided we'd just open the doors to our van, which we were all sleeping in. And I remember waking up at what was probably a reasonable time, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and there's just this 5-6-year-old boy standing right outside our door, looking right at me in my boxers, spread eagle, and we're all just like hanging out. And his mom comes up and is like, "Let's go, Timmy. Let's go. Let's go."
I don't
Was
know
your
if you ever
dick
told
out?
me that.
I don't remember this, but that's amazing.
You don't.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I went back to sleep after, but
Of course you did.
Did you shut the door?
I don't. I
No,
don't
he left the
remember.
door
Maybe.
open.
He probably left
Yeah,
it
right.
open.
It was really hot. I
Uh,
probably left it open, but
funny story. I don't remember who entirely was there or what city we were in. I want to say we were in Tennessee, but we had sound checked. We were in the parking lot. Whoever we were with, that band, we were outside. I know Jacob was there because the story's about Jacob. So we were all telling
oh god,
stories.
I know this one.
People started showing off some tattoos, and Jacob's like, "Yeah, I have this new tattoo. It's one of my favorite tattoos because it might have been about Star Wars or something." Newsflashes,
Oh yeah.
tattoos are Star Wars. And so he pulls his pants down because he has two thigh tattoos called Rebel Alliance and what's the other one?
Empire.
Galactic Empire.
Yeah.
Galactic Empire. And then all of a sudden, his boxers didn't have a button, and his dick's just hanging out.
Like a Muppet show, dude.
Front and
Gonzo,
center.
bro.
It's like, oh, that's my penis.
There it is.
That's a quote from exactly what he
Yep.
said, and then pulled his pants back up.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So
I
I hope your
believe.
penis wasn't out with that little 5-year-old boy standing at her door.
Oh
I
my
believe
God.
that was Seth Munson from Alters.
Oh, okay.
Because he had the same tattoos on his feet. So I was trying to
Oh,
show
that-
him that I had them on my thighs, and
He got a free show.
No, he was
Yeah.
just trying to show off. That's what he was trying to do.
Don't act
No,
like you're not impressed.
definitely not.
Oh man. So I have been wanting to tell this story in a setting like this for a long time. So like I have to also piggyback. Creation was probably my favorite like performance we ever did, like bar none.
Mhm.
But one of the experiences on tour I will never forget was the house party that we were trying to sleep at that apartment in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, I've been wanting to tell this for so long. You can tell. I'm pretty excited about it. So there was a dude, the dude who invited us, first of all, was sleeping in a tiny tent right as you enter this apartment. It's a 1-bedroom apartment, but 3 people live in it. You have dude sleeping in a tent, you have a bed in the living room, and then there's the one of the girls that lived there had her own room, which made sense. But there was this one guy who was partying. There was like a bunch of weird stuff going on that night. There was some domestic issue that happened. Like there was all sorts of weird stuff going on. And we were just trying to sleep. And there was this one gentleman there. And he was being, I guess, extra obnoxious, at least enough to the point where his friend was screaming at him to just shut up and eat and sober up. Dude passes out on the floor at one point, and they set up a beer pong table around him, and it's like, whatever, party continues. But then at one point, I guess, as the alcohol flowed or whatever possible substances people were on, I can't really remember. I just remember being sober and being like, this is terrifying and really hilarious at the same time. Jake and I were chain smoking insanely. But at one point, somebody at the party had the bright idea to pull this guy's pants down and insert I have to describe the
I
Oh,
have
my God.
repressed this memory.
Yeah,
Yes,
And you are
I
bringing it
forgot
to
about
light,
that.
and I'm very sad that you are doing so.
I'm
I hid
really
it very
sorry,
well.
but I have needed to get this off of my chest for years. So, Dave, you know the Freezy Pops, the ones in the plastic tube. It was a purple Freezy Pop. And they pulled this dude's pants down and inserted it probably halfway into his butt.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I didn't even see this, but I definitely heard about it.
I did not bear witness to it. I saw the initial, like, it was about to happen, and Jake and I were like, out.
I think that's when we actually left. We're like, oh, we gotta go.
I don't know. I remember hanging out there till sunrise, and we were just like, yeah, sleep isn't happening. We're just driving. Because
I watched the whole thing.
I bet you did.
So, like, in the butt cheeks, or like,
Oh yeah, like inserted,
just like
beyond the butt cheeks, like going into his ass.
Like it literally like halfway in, and this dude didn't flinch. And at one point, he like got up and was like, and passed.
And he passed back out. He got up, freaked out, didn't even take it out. It just fucking fell back down.
It was like melted at that point, and he just passed out.
Needless to say, I don't think anybody of us has had any desire to go back to Memphis.
No,
because we did go back, and that sucked too.
Yeah, it did. That dude's house, we'd always stayed. No, anytime that dude's house we stayed at had the husky.
You didn't get a popsicle up your butt.
The quote unquote nosebleed, but there was blood all over the bathroom, and I was like, I don't know what happened here. I just want to leave.
Murdered somebody in here.
I've never had a good time.
I don't know, but I feel like he did. Because he left a note on the door, like, don't worry about all the blood in the bathroom. I just had a bad nosebleed, but it was bloody.
That's
everywhere.
what I'm saying. It was
the heck.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Like, you know, when like in an anime, like a dude sees a girl's like boobs and like instantly bleeding out of his nose.
It's like he sneezed spinning around. It's like it was an impossible amount of blood in the weirdest places.
I'm glad I didn't fall asleep that night.
For real.
Yeah, you would have gotten a popsicle up your butt.
Yeah. Now, honestly, as crazy as all that sounds, the craziest part is we left and we just drove. We're like, we got to get the heck out of here. And we're going. We're going through Arkansas. I'm driving. Everyone's passed out. We're zonked, like exhausted.
I remember this too.
And I'm driving. I see this bridge coming up over a river. I don't mean like a tiny little like boat dock bridge. I mean like a good 1/4 mile plus of bridge. And I remember vividly waking up halfway over the bridge with my driver's side wheel, that tire going up the Jersey barrier. And I jerk the wheel to the right. Van goes boom. And then everybody wakes up. And I tell Danny's driving. I'm like, you're driving. I'm done. I need to sleep. We're not dead.
We nearly collectively shit our pants.
It definitely took a minute for people to realize what the hell was going on.
Well, here's the thing for my experience. When I woke up is when the wheels started going up and I heard the like sound and I was like, what the fuck is that?
I don't know why, but every time I was the co-pilot with Brad, everyone else, like, nothing weird happened. But anytime I was with Brad, because I remember us driving to Atlanta, and we're going there, everybody's asleep in the back, and Brad's been driving all night and whatnot, and I've been up with him. And in the middle of Atlanta, in the middle of the city, we're past the woods, we're past everything, I just see a deer, and I'm like, oh, look, a deer. Brad, there's a deer. And he's just driving, like, just trucking forward. And I'm like, dude, deer. There's a fucking deer! And he slams on the brakes. And the deer passes. I'm like, thank God. I don't know if you remember that, Brad.
I don't remember that. No, I don't remember that, but I'm not surprised because I would get like... Because a lot of times it was either me and you, Alex, or me and Dan driving overnight, and I would like zone into the center lane, and I was like, if I can watch the center lane, I know A, I'm on the road, and B, I'm awake.
Yeah, that's totally where your head was at.
Yeah,
that good old Rhode Island logic.
hey, at least it's not Connecticut.
Fair enough. Man.
I'm so outnumbered here,
I don't know.
But yeah, no, there was some weird but that at the same time, like I loved driving overnight because it was calm, it was quiet, and then like you would just have these gorgeous like like starlit skies and stuff like that, and I was just man, I lived for it. It was so
It was very
so great.
scenic. A lot of those overnight drives.
I mean, it's a lot of it's a lot of driving.
I remember we were on tour with Saving Grace, and oh my god, I don't remember anyone's name, but it was the guitar player, the other one,
Vasily?
Ross.
Oh,
Ross.
George?
Was he the guitarist?
Ross,
Yeah, he was
yes.
the guitarist.
Yeah.
Ross
So
was the guitarist.
it was at
George
least
was the
Ross
bass
and
player.
one other guy, and so we're down in the south, and we're driving overnight again. You know, we're getting to the next town, and we hit a checkpoint, and the border patrol comes up, and he's shining the light, and he's like, "Hey, are you y'all U.S.
Oh
citizens?"
yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Yes,
like we're on the
absolutely.
road.
Forgetting.
We get a quarter mile down the road, and Ross comes up. He like sits up a little bit. He's like, "Hey, man, thanks, mate. I didn't have my passport on me." And I was like,
Oh my
"Holy
god!"
Oh shit.
and I'm like, oh, the dogs are after it. Like, I got so
There was a
paranoid,
couple
and
times. Oh, that's right. We were in like Kansas.
Wow,
Good thing you didn't speak.
that's crazy.
yeah,
The thing we were worried about, Dave, to have a little more context to this story, was that the way our van was set up, because they were from New Zealand, Saving Grace, so we took 2 members, and Those Who Fear had 2 of them. And
We also had a member of Those Who Fear on that trip too.
probably.
We like divvied up people. I forget.
The three of us
that's
split
right,
2
that's right.
rides, basically.
But yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that because didn't we get stopped in Kansas? Because also we had like no center bench and we had like 6 people in there or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and they were just like, okay, move along.
It was weird though. They brought out drug dogs and all this weird stuff, and they were just like very candid and just about being like, "Oh yeah, we pull bands over here all the time for drugs," and we were just like, "What?"
They probably thought we
Yeah.
were human trafficking.
Oh man, that makes me think, and I'm trying to remember. Jake had to have been on this tour. We had this dude Cody we would stay with whenever we were in Arizona a couple times, and we were walking to Dave. You're familiar. We were walking to a Filiberto's to get burritos, and remember,
Oh my god, I've been trying to think of that name for 10 years.
Oh my
I love
god,
Filiberto's.
Write it down, Brad. Write it down.
Yeah, Filiberto's. That's the spot.
Jeez.
And a cop pulls up
Filiberto's.
and stops and is like, "Where are y'all going?" We got profiled. It was weird.
Yeah, we were too white
is
for
weird.
the neighborhood.
I've had that happen.
I just remember that experience. It was very weird.
I've had a few times where literally like people at gas stations were like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And we're like, "What do you mean? It's New Jersey." Like, you know, like
New Jersey.
Yeah, and they were like, "No, just get gas somewhere else." And we were like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like,
weird.
It was.
I mean, some parts, yeah.
It's wild.
Speaking of a weird gas station thing, was it you, Brad, or was it Jake that was with us when we went to, I want to say it was Atlanta as well. We went to one gas station and it was just like all the homeless people flocked there. So we decided to go to the gas station across the street and they all followed us. Like almost like mindless zombies. Does anybody but me remember this?
I don't remember this, but that sounds about right.
I don't remember it specifically, but I do remember multiple times being at a gas station or something and people coming up and being like, "Hey, do you have spare change?"
Yeah.
And I would just like look at the van and then be like, we haven't slept in 3 days and showered in 7. So no, they're like, you're better off than we are right now.
Oh man, I remember that. I remember outside that show in Fresno, Jake, we were out on the stoop smoking a cigarette and that homeless dude tried passing you that weird tissue.
Oh yeah, the smell of Jesus or something, or a gift from God.
Yes. I do remember that now. I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh man,
put it in your pocket.
No, I just remember Jake going inside and washing his hands for like 10 straight minutes.
Yes.
That.
I was gonna say, was that was the Hatebreed show? Where they're like, play Hatebreed.
I remember it so well. I think it was the 3 of us out there.
I remember that venue because they had a sign inside that said "Play a Hatebreed cover."
We don't want to hear your music. Play Hatebreed.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a Bury Your Dead cover, but we did not have a Hatebreed cover in the works.
True. You're right.
No, that Gideon did that.
Moral of the story,
Bama.
kids, don't
Yeah.
tour in a band. You're gonna get popsicles up your butt, and you know, have weird
Well,
kids staring at you in
that
your
didn't happen
van.
to a member of us.
I don't
but-
know. That wasn't all of it. That was just,
Yeah. No.
Oh, we
you
just
know,
scratched the
shit
The
surface.
stuff you
happens.
remember.
Shit happens.
Before I let you guys go, one question I want to ask. I don't even think it's something that I even talked to Dan about before. Was, well, how did the face down thing happen? Just going
Wrench
Oh.
in the works.
from CT.
Wrench
Was it Wrench in the Works?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kind of like pitched
Andy.
for us, but that was for Strike First. We got the. Really, it was Gideon that got us to go full.
Yeah,
face
Blake
down.
Hardman.
Yeah,
Yeah, Blake from Gideon at the
because
time.
Jason was questioning it, and Blake was like, "People loved it.
Well,
Them. Just sign him."
yeah.
basically.
I mean, the full story. Wrench in the Works built a relationship with them. I knew Andy, their drummer, really well, who kind of was like the me of his band, and we were, we did a couple shows, started to do a little stuff. We're looking to do an EP. We did a couple demos with Tyler, one of Alex's friends, and then he suggested us to go with Greg Thomas to his studio to do the album, and that's where to do our EP, and that's where Wrench in the Works did their album for Facedown. So,
Which really, we did the EP with Chris Teddy mostly.
yeah. I mean, he recorded us, but Greg
No,
makes,
we did the album obviously with Greg, but yeah.
Greg makes and mastered the EP.
Yeah,
But
he-
yeah, so like Strike First was our gateway to get in there. It was a low, like, it wasn't a lot of money. It didn't pay for all of the record, but it got us in the door. It got a label on it. It gave us some like man, what am I trying to say? Like status, and helped us build off of it from there.
Clout.
Yeah.
Give us straight clout.
Yeah, I mean, and we were making, good decisions as a band with the type of shows we were getting and being active, trying to like reach out and get beyond just Connecticut because it's very limiting in this state.
We were not very well liked in Connecticut. Every time we went to New York, I was like, I feel like we should be from New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like New York,
It-
New York
it was
loved
like
it.
that
it's a
for sure.
catch-22 because they, they don't like you if you're from here and just from here, but once you get out of
Yeah.
state, as soon as we started getting out of state, everybody started, really liking us a lot more. I don't know if
Yeah.
actually liking our music, but giving us as much credibility as
We at
built
least
up
had
to.
some more
More
cred
shots,
and some
yeah.
respect.
Yeah, and like just grinded. So it's a combination. Face Down was putting in all the work, writing decent music, and also networking. And we kind of knew the path we were building, so Face Down just happened to work perfectly. And it really worked out that Wrench in the Works was from the area and on the label, one of the few that we were looking at. So
If I recall right, and tell me if I'm wrong, I don't remember, but weren't you kind of like gung ho about like wanting to do Solid State instead?
I would have preferred it, but I mean,
Yeah.
Face Down's a
That's a tough
smaller
one,
label
too.
and they're a stepping stone
Yeah.
label. I mean, you got to kind of take
We kind of tagged on to Face Down when they were, not that they had bad bands or anything, just their hype was dying out.
They still had some bands.
I was gonna
on
say
the
they were
roster
just
that
getting
Yeah,
were
to their
solid
I mean, they
for
had War of
sure.
Ages, but like Impending Doom just left, Sleeping Giant just left, um, like they were trying to get the roster back up.
It wasn't their strongest roster, but like those were some of the best people.
No, they were all good people. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't huge on Ultra's music, but I love those guys. Those guys are
Yeah, they're
awesome.
great dudes. The dudes from Hope for the Dying
Yeah,
were
we're
great.
amazing.
I mean, Those Who Fear was on the label.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of Hope for the Dying, one more quick story with Andrew WK.
I was just
No.
gonna say,
No.
are we
Oh
not
my
going to talk about
God.
Just
Andrew
actually,
WK?
can you?
No, we're good.
Dan,
Oh my
I feel like you're a
God.
better storyteller. You should tell this.
Okay, so this happened after we
Crashed the
had
van.
just played. Yeah, we played a show in Lubbock, Texas. We stayed there for the night, and the next day we had a show in Oklahoma City that shockingly got canceled. but yeah, we were driving on the way there. We were driving through Shamrock, Texas, and there was a blizzard. And basically, Mike was driving. There was a couple of there was like 2 semi trucks to our right.
There's a
And
whole row of
then,
traffic.
there was just a bunch of traffic. It was not the greatest of conditions. But the thing is like, obviously we're all from New England. We're used to, like, if DOT is on the side of the road and working, there's cones, there's lights, everything you could think of. But in this instance, DOT in Texas had just finished up, like, cleaning up an accident, and their truck was partially into the left lane, and we had it was only a 2-lane highway on the side we were on,
And
so
it was a
couldn't
it was
white-
go
snowing pretty
anywhere.
heavy too. So
It was a white pickup truck.
a white pickup truck
And
in
a-
a blizzard
it was
in
a white-
Texas.
And they had one little orange light at the top that you could barely see.
By the time you saw it, it was just so far too late.
It was basically, we saw it was happening, and we
Braced
just,
for impact.
like, basically we saw it coming. So
That was on the 40, right?
Yeah.
Shamrock, east of
yeah,
Amarillo,
yeah,
You're so close.
right before you get into Oklahoma.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, I was just there.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Drove right through it.
Yeah. So just picture with a whiteout blizzard. Can't see 100 feet in front of you.
No, when I was there, it was like 110.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I
gotta
wish it
suck.
was. Oh man, that was crazy. I remember when we got to the I guess the impound yard or whatever we went to and got dropped off at. Man, like, it was just one of those surreal moments. We're all standing there. We're all just like,
Damn.
just completely shot. Like, our van's gone. We can't even get our stuff. And like, we were able to get our belongings after a little bit, but all the, thankfully all of our gear was not damaged, thankfully. And but yeah, there was a moment we were all standing there just kind of like awestruck and not kind of in shock, and then all of a sudden, middle of a blizzard, tumbleweed goes by and we all just start dying laughing.
That was a comical moment.
Yeah, that was so weird. But
we definitely were defeated up until we saw that. We're like, why? Why is there a tumbleweed?
Yep. And then, thankfully, a lot of people were really supportive, and the guys from Hope for the Dying were the best. Not only did they put all of our gear inside of their trailer and everything, so we were traveling with them for the last, like, show or so for that tour, and man, Jack was driving, and then James was riding shotgun, and Jack puts in Get Wet by Andrew WK. So, like, it goes through one playthrough, and we're just like, yeah, okay, cool. But then it was just on repeat, and then at one point, he takes the CD out, flips through the booklet, puts a new CD in. It's still Andrew WK, except this time he pans it all the way to the back where Jake is.
It was
Jake
torture.
and I were in the back, actually. And I'm not going to lie. We, a song played, whatever, okay. And it took probably a good 30 minutes before we realized, is this just the same song over and over and over?
It was the same album over and over and over, which the songs all kind of sound the same.
So I was in, like, the back, like in the tiny little trunk area. And Andrew WK has been blasting for what seems like hours at this point. And it's just pure torture.
I think it was hours.
And I had to piss so bad. And someone, I forget who, someone handed me a bottle, and I tried to pee into the bottle, and I peed all over their car. So that's retribution for the Andrew WK torture.
All right, guys. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for just, like, taking time out of your day and just come hanging out. It was great catching up with you guys as always. Just want to let you guys know, I know we all are in different spots in life and probably don't talk as much as we could, but I really do, like, care about you guys a lot, and you guys were my family during all the craziest times we were on the road. But I'm really thankful and grateful that it was all of you guys. Like, no matter what iteration of the band it was, like, you know, at the very least, we had each other even when times were terrible.
Absolutely. Thanks for getting this together.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah,
Love you guys.
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for reaching out. It was so nice to catch up with y'all. And I mean, I haven't talked to Jake, and like we were talking off air, it was like over 10 years. So, yeah, it was just fantastic to talk to y'all.
It's awesome to be able to facilitate that.
I highly enjoyed this. I just wish Brad wasn't here.
Well, you know what? You know
Maybe
what?
it'll be another 10 years.
In another 10 years, we'll talk again, Brad.
I hope
If I'm
not.
doing this in 10 years, if I'm still doing this in 10 years and I'm not making money, please call the police.
All right.
I feel like you would have made worse decisions by then.
I'm trying to turn that around, but that's okay. All right, guys. Thank you again. Dave, you got anything you want to say to the guys before we cut out?
Awesome, you guys are here. Thank you. Like Dan said, some of you, we've all been in the same room at some point in time. More than 10. I mean, Jesus, I haven't played a show 13 years or something like that. But yeah, I'm glad that Dan brought this up, and I'm super stoked that you guys all got together and we made it work. And actually, you know, it's kind of inspiring for me to try to get maybe the Forsaken dudes to all come back on. We've had, you know, John on individually, but not sure if we can get everybody together at the same time. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to listen to you guys talk about, you know, crazy shit, and gives me the itch to, you know, after being on the road for 18 days with my brother and going cross country and coming back, it really has given me that itch to be like, oh, I gotta pull the bass out of the guitar case. Again, thank you guys. It's been a blast, and maybe in 10 years we'll do it again.
I hope Dan's making money at that point.
If not, I'll
Hopefully.
Venmo you.
Thanks again for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Find all of these links at our link tree, and that's at www.linktr.ee/Tales from the Soundcheck podcast.
Listen on Spotify, where you can follow and rate the show. And if you prefer YouTube, don't forget to hit that little bell and subscribe to our channel for full episodes and exclusive clips.
If you have any comments, questions, or booking inquiries, please send us a message on Instagram at Tales from the Soundcheck podcast.
And stay tuned for news, future updates about our Patreon, which is arriving in 2024. Or shoot us an email at talesfromthesoundcheckpodcast@gmail.com.